Welcome back to Wealth on Health, the gift of sight. We're looking into a disease that was once considered untreatable, optic nerve hypoplasia. It's when the optic nerve never fully develops during gestation, rendering children blind from birth. But new hope exists in China, where umbilical cord stem cell transplants are offering the blind a second chance for sight.
Imagine living in a world without sight, without color, without any real understanding of the world around you. Imagine not knowing what your parents look like, or even yourself. But now, in a world of darkness, comes a second chance for sight for those afflicted with optic nerve hypoplasia.
Tyrese was born on the 30th November 2005 at 36 weeks and weighed just 2.16 kilograms. He had 24-hour oxygen due to respiratory distress, as his lungs hadn't developed yet. At 2 months old, I took him to a pediatrician who did a checkup on his eyes, as my mother was concerned that his eyes weren't focusing. The pediatrician then referred us to an ophthalmologist. Tyrese already had nystagmus, which is the jerky eye movement, and both doctors agreed that he could not focus. Hypoplasia of both optic discs was diagnosed.
Basically, there is a nerve that connects the eye to the brain. Your eye is here, the vision part of the brain is here. There's a nerve that connects them, and it never developed in this child, not normally anyway.
Like normal sighted people, we have over 1 million connections or nerve fibers from each eye to the brain. With optic nerve hypoplasia, there are fewer connections going from the eye to the brain. From being told your child is blind, there is no cure. Nothing can be done to help restore your child's sight, and to just be told to deal with it has led to 4 years of research.
Corinne is the most loving, dedicated mother Tyrese could ever have. When we were told by the pediatrician that this beautiful baby of ours was blind, the doctor took Corinne to live with it. It was the most hurtful news we have ever heard. After all the tears and when the shock wore off, Corinne started to do research. She was quite relentless. Because the doctor said there was no cure, she was determined to find a cure. And she went onto the internet to learn more about optic nerve hypoplasia and if there was a cure. Then she came across the stem cell treatments.
A stem cell is a cell that can renew itself and become any other type of cell in the body. There are 2 types of stem cells, embryonic stem cell and umbilical stem cells. Embryonic stem cells are extracted from an embryo that has died. This is the controversial method of extracting stem cells. However, hospitals in China have cord banks where mothers donate their cords so that stem cells can be extracted and used to treat various diseases. Optic nerve hypoplasia is one of these. China is the only place that has cord banks at the moment.
In China, umbilical cord stem cells are stored in government-funded blood banks, which is why patients are heading to China for treatment.
Typically, the first stem cell transplant in children is always done intravenously. We do that for several reasons. One of the most important reasons that we do that is to assess the child's reaction to the stem cell product. We want to be sure that they're not having any kind of an adverse reaction to it. Typically, numbers 2, 3, and 4, all the way up to number 6, stem cell transplants are done by lumbar puncture. A lumbar puncture is a very simple procedure done every day. We actually will go in and slide a needle into the spinal canal right between the lumbar vertebrae. We then will simply inject the stem cells right into that area. In addition, we will inject neural growth factor straight into that area.
So far, Beike Biotechnology has treated 4 children with optic nerve hypoplasia. The results have been nothing short of a miracle.
Chatting to other mothers with this blog, personally, you actually find out exactly how the treatment is done, how the treatment has given success to their kids, how their visual has improved. The outcome was phenomenal, especially with the case with Riley Bartlett. So I was finally convinced that stem cell treatment was the only hope for Tyrese.
Riley Bartlett was diagnosed with optic nerve hypoplasia when she was just 4 months old. Her mother was told there was no hope. No cure existed for ONH. She left with the diagnosis and started teaching Riley how to live life as a blind child.
Riley was a 5-year-old who was completely blind. She had absolutely no light perception at all. And in my mind, I considered her to be my worst case scenario. My feeling early on was that if I could restore vision to Riley, then anything was possible.
July 4th was her first stem cell injection. They did it through an IV, and 1 week later is when she started reacting to the pen light, and they had checked her every day since the day we arrived the exact same way, and she had never had any response. And on that day, when they shined the light in her eyes, she closed her eyes and turned away, and so they did it on the other side, and she had the same reaction.
When her mom, Dawn, called me from China, I was just sitting on my front porch crying because I just never expected it to work that quickly for a girl that was completely blind and whose optic nerve had been described by her ophthalmologist as being dead. And Riley's progress has been nothing short of amazing.
On August 12th, Riley's progress took a phenomenal step forward.
I said, I'm going to show you a picture, but what I did was get up really close in her face and then moved back. So it was just briefly. Didn't breathe on her, didn't say anything, didn't let her feel me. You know, I'm one of those, I need to know for sure that she sees what it is she's telling me or whatever. And I said, did you see that? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, what did you see? She said, I saw my mommy. And I was like, you did? What'd you see? And she said, Mommy, you're beautiful. And I was just, I think I was in shock. It was the next morning when I woke up and I was bawling.
So now that you can see, what does your mommy look like?
She's got lipstick.
She's got lipstick? What color hair does she have?
Brown.
To know that not only does she have sight, but she's got the vision to go with it, being able to process what it is she's seeing. For the brain to be working with the eyes is a real significant thing for us because we weren't really sure how all of that was going to tie in.
Now Riley can tell faces of her family. She can tell you whether you have a hat. She can tell you whether you have earrings, sunglasses. She can, you know, point to where the sun is in the sky. There's, at this point, no limit to the improvements that Riley will make.
I contacted Kirshen of Ross Varden, and through many nights of research and chatting to her, we were accepted by Beike Biotech. And we were scheduled to go to Thailand, but because of price increase, we decided to go back to China. The price of the stem cell infusions is $26,000 US. That includes 6 stem cell infusions, which is to have, and hospital stay for a month is free. Besides that, the airfare and other expenses are not included. In order to raise the funds, a trust fund has been set up by Garlick and Barsfield. The trust fund's name is Stem Cells for Vision Tyrese Trust Fund, which is held at the Absa Bank. While we try and raise the funds for Tyrese to go to China, we continue to teach Tyrese to live and understand his world as a blind child. Tyrese has physio twice a week with Pam, and the physio helps with muscle tone and to understand his environment. If a child cannot see what is going on and how your movements are made, he has to be shown physically how to do them.
Tyrese is receiving physiotherapy for delayed milestones. The reason why he has delayed milestones is that being blind, he is unable to interact with his environment as a normal child interacts with the environment. He cannot reach for toys and do purposeful and meaningful movements. Therefore, his milestones are delayed. He is not rolling as a normal child should. He is not crawling. He hasn't got the balance that these milestones need. And so I put him through various routines. The principles of treatment are neurodevelopmental therapy, and it involves taking the child through their milestones from birth to the standing and walking phase.
While we try and raise the funds, we continue to teach Tyrese to live and understand his world as a blind child.